Be authentic. Okay, so there's a lot of definitions of the word authentic, and the one I'm going with is more of the be true to yourself kind of one, because there's the whole like authentic creation in artwork. There's like an authentic Picasso or something like that, like it's been certified and things. So clearly, anything that we create as artists is authentic because we created it. But I'm talking about the put yourself into your art, the take that passion that you have and just pour it in there instead of like half-assing it, right? We don't want to do that. So being authentic. So how do we do that? Well, for a lot of us, depending on what stage of your artistry you're in, it starts with looking at the people who have come before us, right? We all stand on the shoulders of giants and we all have our influencers, the people that we admire in our fields or even other artistic fields that we want to emulate or we want to do things the way they do. We want to use their style. We want to not copy, but we want to sort of transition or take in some of their techniques or the way that they do things and sort of put our own touch on it. So we want to add our own authenticity to the things that have come before us and to the things that are happening around us. Even maybe if you see some people in this group or other places in the contemporary artists in your field or similar fields, you might think, wow, I'd really like to be like that. I know that I do that. So here are 3 ways that we can do these things. So the first way is what I call copy change, right? Now, don't get stressed out by the word copy. I don't mean steal. I just sort of mean like if we look at other artists, or listen to their music, or I'm just going to say art in general, but it's you apply this to your art, whatever that is, right? So we look at other artists in general and we just say sort of like, I really like how they do this. I really like how they put this together. I like their use of color. I like the way they sing. I like whatever, the movement, things like that. And I wish I was more like that, right? So I was looking at, there's a woman in the group, April Gentry. She posted some of her art, some sketches, pencil sketches that she's done in the group. And there was one in particular that caught my eye because it was sort of a riff on Van Gogh's Starry Night, which is my favorite painting by my favorite artist. I got to see that once. It was in the MoMA, the Museum of Modern Art. I didn't know that it was there, and I went to the Museum of Modern Art one day with my family, and we were walking around, and I was having a great day. I was in heaven. It was amazing. And then I just turned the corner, right? And it was like all of a sudden I'm staring at Starry Night that I did not know was there. And I was like, what? it was a heaven moment. I was just like, wow. Everyone's like got their cameras and stuff. I just stood there. I stood there and stared for a while. It was an amazing experience, and eventually I thought to take a picture of it, but it was really, really wonderful. So I've always loved that painting, and then I saw her drawing of it, and it kind of had her own style, her own take. It was clearly not a copy like a forgery, but it was sort of like she used it as an influence to practice her style, to come up with her own way of doing it. So I kind of take it as another example is musicians. I came up in music in the Long Island music scene here in Long Island, New York, where I live, and you, just like any other music scene, you play bars, you do things, and everybody wants to hear covers. Well, I never liked playing covers just like they were right off the album. I always liked it when my band, we'd take a cover and we'd kind of put our own take on it, and sort of make it our own song. Sometimes it works, sometimes it sounded like it was lame, but most of the time it worked. And it's like you want to sort of take somebody else's work and just make it your own. And that's a really good way to start to find your authenticity, to take things that somebody else has already done and you can use it as practice to say, like, I'm sort of trying to figure out how to find my voice, to find my style, to find my medium and just add your flair to it. So there's that. I call that copy change. Like take something that you love and sort of emulate it in a way, but add your own flair to it. You're not taking somebody else's work and passing it off as your own. That's not what I'm talking about at all. You're just sort of using it as a starting point. Gee, how do you make something like this? Let me try it. Let me figure out if I can figure out the techniques. And before you know it, you're inventing your own thing. So that's number one. Number two is to blend concepts. Sometimes you might have, let's say you're a painter and you love this particular artist, and you also love this particular artist, but this one's a realist and this one's an impressionist. And for some reason, those are the only two painting styles I can think of off the top of my head. But you might say, like, I love both of their styles and I want to sort of blend the two, or as a musician, I'm really into some electronic music and I'm really into heavy rock. So sometimes I blend the two, and I'll write like a heavy rock song with electronic elements to it, and it just becomes like a whole new thing. Like Nine Inch Nails added a whole bunch of things and came up with like industrial music that way. I don't know if they invented it, but you get the deal. So you can sort of take elements from different styles, different genres, different artists, or and sort of blend them together and invent a whole new thing that way. So that's number two. And then number three ties into my daily fuel from the other day, the core truth one. This is where authenticity has that to thine own self be true feeling. Because a lot of times what we do is we might try to do a cover or a copy change kind of a thing, or blend different concepts and feel like, well, that's who that is, and I'm me, and maybe I need to change my style to be more like the master that I want to emulate, or more like this thing that's more commercially viable. And to that I say, don't do that, because what happens is you start diluting your authenticity to please other people. And I think that as artists, in order to be authentic, what we need to do is just be like, I don't give a, right? We just can't care what other people think, because if we do, then what happens is we start attracting people around our art. We start attracting people, or if it's a business or anything, you start attracting people around your world that like this thing that's not really you. And then eventually you start to resent them. You start to wish they'd go away. You just don't want to be around that anymore. So those are the three things. You can copy. You can look at somebody that you love and copy, and then sort of change it a little bit. That's probably a good beginner one, or a good starting point if you're new to a certain artistry field. And then you can blend concepts, and then of course just I don't care. I'm wearing this on stage, or I'm using this, or I'm painting with this paint on this medium, even though nobody does it and they say never do that, but I'm doing it because I like how this comes out. Or I'm singing in this style. Whatever your thing is, just do you. That's all authentic is. Just do you, and stop caring about what any other human being says. If you can do that, you could be authentic. Okay, I'm going to go to the comments. Wow, this was a light one today, huh? We have 2 comments. One I already read. I'm here, Stephanie. I don't know if you're still here, but hello, Stephanie. And Ray Swan says, who do you see when you look at me? Who should I see when I look at you? Do you see the me that I want you to see? Do I see the you that you want me to? And so that's a nice poem. Okay, well, that's about it. Are there any other comments? Wow, this was the shortest Daily Fuel yet. I haven't. Oh, there we go. Ray is funny. The stuff that comes. These are the comments you wrote on the other thing. Okay. All right. Well, if there's no other comments, then I guess we're done. But that's it. Thanks for, if you're watching in the replay, do me a favor and just put hashtag replay or something. And like I said, tag me if you have a question, and I will see you tomorrow. Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Bye.